Hi, I'm Brent Sides, VP of Sales with Kitchen Armor. I'm here today with Brandon Kundek, who is the VP of Operations for Mesero. We're going to be doing an installation today. We're going to be putting in our Android POE devices, and we're also going to be showing you a little training video of how to put together our universal mounting kits, and so our 12-inch posts. Brandon's here today with me, and he just wanted to kind of give you guys a little idea of who Mesero is and what they're trying to accomplish by replacing their printers and putting in a more robust solution in terms of hardware, and then a software solution, which is QSR Automations, to advance their technology in the kitchen.
So Mesero's been around since 2011. We currently have 7 locations. We're looking to expand at least 2 a year for the foreseeable future. It's real important for us as we grow that we grow with the technology that's going to help our operations, that's going to help us stay clean and organized, and it's going to help our growth be that much easier as we move along to these new locations. We feel like Kitchen Armor is going to take us to the next step, getting out of our printers, out of our ribbon, out of all the paper and the mess and breaking of the printers, and it goes on forever. So we're real excited about this technology and seeing what it can do for us as we move forward and grow and become more successful than ever.
Great. Thanks for having us, Brandon. We're looking forward to getting this done. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's go ahead and move on to the installation. Today we're going to be showing you guys how to install one of our universal mounting kits and a 12-inch post, along with an Android All-In-One POE unit of ours. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, when you order our products, what's going to come with it and what you can expect when you're pulling it out of the box. So number one, you're going to get this on its own, which is the universal mounting clamp. When you pull this out of the package, you're going to have 2 pieces of the clamp. Comes apart just like that. Inside this, you're going to have a packet of screws. On the top of it, you're going to have 2 small screws that already come pre-installed. So what you're going to do, once you get everything set up here, let me pull these out. You got 4 long screws, which is about 1.25 inches, that's going to actually hold the clamp together, and then this is what tightens it down to the post. Before I move into that, I did want to explain a little bit about where this clamp's going to be best used. So this clamp was designed to go on any 1 to 2 inch post, right? So this is a 2-inch post, clamps onto that. You can go on to a 1-inch post as well. And if there's a 1-inch square post, you can go to that. So the nice thing about this is you can use this device on any existing infrastructure. So if your restaurant has shelves, things like that, and it's got post on it, you can just attach this directly to it, and you don't need the 12-inch post. If it doesn't, that's what we provide these for. So we have a 12-inch, a 6-inch, we've got a 20-inch wall post, we got soffit mounts, but this will attach to all of it. So that's what makes it nice, really easy for installs. So then when I take my 4 screws, I'm just going to kind of lightly tap those in there on each little corner. Once I get it started, you'll see that it easily just slides over the posts, and then you can start tightening it down from there. Once I get into the install and I put the actual post in, we'll tighten it down, and I'll show you how that works. So the other components that come with your kit is going to be the Visa mount. So you're going to get the actual Visa mount itself, which is this star looking thing. It comes with the options for 75 or 100. We're going to be using 100 today, which is the outside. And it also comes with these 4 silver little screws that's going to tie that into your heavy duty tilter here. That's this item. So what happens with this is all going to mount together, and I'll show you that here in a second. It also comes with either a 4-inch arm or an 8-inch arm. So whatever you decide, you could purchase the kit together. If you need to extend your monitor out just a little bit more, you can order these separately. So you could either stack a 4-inch and a 4-inch, an 8-inch and an 8-inch, or you could do a 4 and an 8. So easily stackable. The other component that you're going to find in the box is this little device here. And this is pretty simple. It just slides right in like that. and this mounts to this, and I'll show you guys that here in a second. And then at the same time, you got these little lock nut screws that go right on the bottom of this, and that is going to lock it in place so you can't pull it out. And it also kind of tightens it up so you don't have so much loose play there. But I'll show you that as we get started with that. And then the last little piece that's going to come with that is you're going to have this nice little Allen wrench. So what we typically do is I like to give it a nice little snug, like one, if I can get it in there, one little twist. I've already done it so I don't have to do it, but once it's pretty tight, you're pretty good. Our monitors, especially the 22-inch, it's about 21 pounds, so there's a little weight, so that's why we're doing the heavy-duty tilter today, because we will have some 22-inch, we've got some 15-inch. 15's, you know, it's not quite as heavy as the 22-inch, a little bit lighter. So I'm going to start putting this together just to kind of show you how everything kind of goes together. And as you get your tools, glasses, if you're blind like me, is a very important one, so I need that. So let's put the tilter on the VESA mill. One thing you will notice when you're putting this VESA mount on is you've got these little incaves. So that way your screw is flush inside there. So you don't want to do it on the opposite side, because then it's not going to be flush. So make sure you put the screws on the right side. So let's go ahead and start putting that together. You can use a drill if you want to do it that way. I typically just kind of do it this way just because it's easier and I can hand tighten it and I don't risk stripping out anything. But as long as you have a preference, be careful not to just over tighten it and break your screw head. All right, nice and tight. So now that we've got the heavy-duty tilter and the VESA mount put together, next thing we're going to do, we're going to take the 4-inch arm. We're going to slide the tilter right into that. We're going to take one of these lock nuts, get our screwdriver. Oops. Make sure you don't lose these. And then you're going to notice on these little lock nuts, they've got these two little, I guess, little pins that are going to slide right into these little holes there. So you want to make sure that you get those into those holes. So once that's in there, get our screwdriver. We're going to get that locked into there. So as I start tightening it down, you see this is really loose. This also gives you a little leverage to tighten it up so it's not so loose. So when they're moving the monitors around, they're not just swinging. Okay, so I've got that nice and tight. And now it gives me a little bit more friction so it's not so loose. All right, so we've got that taken care of. Next thing I like to do is I like to get my little mount put onto the bracket. And what you'll notice about the bracket is it's dual-sided. So you've got, on the front side, you've got your 4 screws and you got your 2 little holes here. On the back side, you've got 2 little nut areas for the same screws. You can use this to do back-to-back. So if you're going to do 2 monitors on one clamp, you can put one monitor on this side, one on this side. Or you could do a monitor and a printer on the other side using some of our different components, which will be shown in a different video. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put my little harness on there, get my screws. You may want to take a look too, because there is a logo. We like to show off our logo a little bit. So you want to make sure that it's right side up where you're going to drop that in. But you may see a little logo down here on the bottom that says Kitchen Armor. Doesn't really matter. You can flip it upside down. I just like to say, keep the Kitchen Armor the right side up. And then the way that's going to work is once you put this on the monitor, It's just going to slide in just like that. So we'll get that all set up. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out the monitor out of the box and show you guys how that goes on there. So I'm going to move a few things around. So I'm going to grab one of our devices that we're going to put in. So this is an all-in-one 15-inch POE unit. We're going to open up the box and start to pull some things out. So some of the things that are going to come with it, even though it's a POE unit, power over Ethernet, it comes with a power supply. So if you're not using POE to power your device, you do have an AC power supply that comes with it. Today we're not going to be using that. It normally comes with a Cat 5 cable, but I've already pulled that out of the box and I've set that aside. So I'm just going to pull the monitor out now. Set that box aside, and look, I was wrong. It did come with a Cat 5 cable, so that's in there, so we'll use that for later. So what I like to do is I like to use the little styrofoam things to set my monitor in after I pull it out of the box so I don't get anything scratched up, and set it on there just like that. Take your screwdriver, Phillips head, pull out the Visa screws out of the back. And it doesn't really matter which way you put your Visa head on, because you can rotate the monitor whether you're doing landscape or portrait mode. Set those aside, get my Visa mount. Like I said, I'm using the 100. And we'll get this bad boy put in. Again, I'm using a screwdriver to do this and not a drill, just because I do not want to over tighten and snap anything. I really just like to get these things hand tight. If you're good with the drill and you can get your right settings, you can feel free to do that a little faster, but at the end of the day, I like to kind of have it nice and tight with just a hand tight drill. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of set this aside as I start to get the 12-inch post put in. So I'm going to move this. Now we're going to move into putting in the 12-inch post. So when you order a product from us, we're going to give you options. Wrapped around this post, you're going to find some nuts and bolts. So typically we use these if you're drilling just into stainless and there's no like wood or any type of backing underneath there. Especially if you're drilling into stainless and you're under a shelf where people are putting their hands and things like that. You want to use these just so there's no sharp edges or anything like that. Other ways that we do this is we also can use a self-tapping screw. So right here is a 1-inch, it's a 12 diameter, but it's a self-tapper screw. If you do this in stainless and you're putting it in areas that they're putting their hands under and things like that, there's a potential that they could scratch their hands on it. That's why we like to use these. Today we're going to use self-tappers though, because there's really no areas that they're going to be, putting their hands under or anything like that. And plus with this little section here, we're going to use a little bit longer screw. We're going to use a 1.5 because we have wood in there. And I'm also going to use that wood to kind of get a good bite on and put that in. So it'll tap into the stainless and it's also going to tap into the screw. Into the wood, sorry. On top of that, we're also going to drill a 1.5-inch hole in the center of this, because now I'm going to route my cables up through the pipe and out through the top, and it's going to come through the bottom of the shell. So some of the tools that you're going to be using to do the drilling, I'm going to start with a 1 1/8 inch. And I'm using this as just kind of a pilot hole. Some people just, you can just kind of knock I forgot what the little device is. You can knock a little hole in there. I don't really like to do that. I like to actually use a drill bit to get that pilot hole going, and then I can get that self-tapper in really easily. You want to make sure that you got the right type of drill bits, that they are built or made to go into stainless. And you also don't want to drill too fast. I mean, I kind of like give it real short bursts, but I'll show you how I do that in a minute just to get things started. But it's very important that you use the right type of drill bits to get through the stainless, or you're just going to kind of burn things out and you may not even get through it. But we'll give you some of that towards the end of the video with some of the right tools, some options that you could use, and you guys can kind of figure that out on your own. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a Sharpie, and I like to take a little measurement just to kind of go off, depending on where the wood is and what obstacles you may have under there. You want to kind of look where that's at, and you can do some measurements. Today I'm going about a 1/2 inch from the edge, just to kind of get a good measurement. And what I do is I will take a Sharpie and I will mark my holes where I'm going to drill. Now I'm going to mark my center hole. So what I'll do is I'll take a straight ruler and I'll just go from one side to the next. And that's going to give me direct center of where I'm going to be drilling. Then we get our drill. We're going to take our bit that I mentioned, a 1/8 inch stainless steel drill bit. Get that out of the package. And then we just start going into the stainless. Well, I've been doing little short bursts just to make it where I'm not really burning out my bit. So I do take the same bit just to get a pilot hole going in the center here. And then I'm going to switch to a different bit for my center hole. So this is a 1.5 inch bit. I really like the Linux. They go through stainless really easily. And I'm probably going to make a little bit wider hole on that. So I'm going to grab 1/4 inch just to kind of get that hole in the center a little bit bigger, just so I can get that thing started. Again, some of this may be too much, but you know, if you've done this kind of stuff before, it should be fairly easy for you. Okay, now we'll move over to this bad boy. So again, I like to do this in short bursts, not just a steady, constant movement, because it's going to really burn. And then you can also warp the stainless if you get it too hot. All right, so I've got through the stainless now. Now the rest of it's just wood, so that's fairly easy to go through. So we got through that. And it's always messy, right guys? So you always, this is a restaurant kitchen, so you want to make sure you clean up as much as you can. I've got a vacuum cleaner, and I'm going to come back through this. So now that we've got our holes drilled, we're putting our post in place. we're gonna grab a nut driver with a 5/16 inch driver and our self-tapping bits. So we've started our pilot holes already. So I'm just gonna do one at a time, just kind of getting that in there. Okay, now that we've got the post in, nice and sturdy, we're gonna put our clamp on. This, you can use a drill to do, but I like to do the final touches of tighten it down with a screwdriver. So I go from corner to corner just to kind of get an even tightness. All right, after getting all that put in, now the final step to the process is putting the actual monitor in place. So we're gonna take our 15-inch, it's already got everything screwed in. Okay, now we're gonna put our monitor in, just drop it into the slot, like so. We're gonna take our lock nut that goes underneath there, get that put in. And then you're all set. So if you're doing portrait mode, you can do it like that. Landscape, either way. So we are going portrait mode in this, and that station's all done. We're gonna drop our Cat 5 into the slot. Take off our back door. Put our cable through there. And then inside here, you got a nice little cable tie to reduce the tension. So you can tie wrap that down. So if anybody pulls on that cable, it's not gonna mess with your Cat 5. That'll just tighten down just like that. And then these nice little twist screws, they're spring loaded. They don't come off, so you won't lose them. Makes a nice, easy, clean install. Okay, that's a wrap, guys. We just finished up the installation. We appreciate everybody tuning in and taking a look at what we've done. I want to thank Brandon and Mesero's and their team for letting us come in and share this experience with you guys. Look forward to doing more of these, so stay tuned as more are to come. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out or go to kitchenarmor.com for more information. I look forward to seeing you guys. Thanks.